All right, good afternoon, and I welcome you back to Princess Seed Channel. Today is the 13th of September 2025, and be that as it may, we thank the Lord for having led us thus far. We have a message from Osim, and to me, this message has two sides to it, and I'm going to reveal it to us. So I want you to please be diligent, and we must be pragmatic when it comes to the expectations and also what we are seeing momentarily. So please just take your time. As much as we are together, we're a family, and we are all stakeholders here in expectation of this divine mandate. All right, this word came from Osim, and this is what it says. Every step or every first step of a journey has an end. This is thought-provoking statement, and I'm suggesting that every journey, no matter how long or challenging, has a destination or an end point. This can be a motivating reminder that our efforts and progress would ultimately lead to a conclusion or a new beginning. We all know that the missionary journey is not a waste for all these years. What a lesson. And what does the end goal look like to you? A wise observation on Apostle Ken Wakama. I'm highlighting the importance of respecting his silence. He may not seek to draw attention to himself through words, but instead focus on delivering results. These quiet achievers often possess a depth of character and determination that can be truly admirable. It's interesting that I mention his capability. I'm also suggesting that his quiet nature can be intimidating or commanding. Or is it more about giving a healthy respect for the general masses based on people who laughed at us by putting them to shame? And that came from Osim. That's okay, that's all right. But like I said, that message is okay. But first, I want to draw some two line of inference from that submission. And first of all, patience and silence can be both a virtue and liability at the same time. Now, on one hand, Apostle Ken's calm and quiet style, in other words, choosing not to rush to defend himself or make some endless noise, shows discipline and focus. Don't forget, on one hand, it communicates that he is not here for drama but for results. Now, that in itself is admirable. Yes, because in the world of grants and disbursements, a lot of people get distracted with public showmanship. Instead of real delivery, one wants to be the first to disseminate information. Let it be me that is talking to the masses. Let me have the mandate and all those things, So that silence in itself sometimes could be admirable, and he's not here for drama but for results. Yes, but then Many projects, we know that many projects get distracted with some public showmanship of that nature instead of real delivery. They use public showmanship to spoil the old stuff. So his approach, it kind of sets him apart as someone serious. Now, that is on one side. But the other side of the coin, when we flip the coin, we cannot deny the reality of the years of waiting. For beneficiaries who have held on for these years, who have actually trusted the process, who have endured mockery. I read comments where some wives will say, some husband has said the wife shouldn't talk about that thing anymore in his ears. That is tired of listening to that. This is owing to the years of waiting, where certain people have held on, trusted the process tenaciously, but they've endured mockery of different sort. Now, such a silence can feel so heavy. Such a silence coming from the county director can feel so frustrating. People want timelines. People want clarity. They want clarity in these purposes. So when the months stretch into years, silence, no matter how disciplined it is, can start to look like indifference, abandonment. And that's the thin line that he is walking. I don't get whether you understand what I'm saying. That is the thin strap of line that the county director, Apostle Ken Wakama, is actually walking in. Now, the truth is, his approach has created two narratives. His approach has actually created two narratives, draw two inferences out. First, for the faithful ones, his quiet determination is a signal of strength, a signal of wisdom. And he appears to be like a man who wants the results to speak louder than just empty promises. Now, but secondly, for the wearied ones over years, his approach feels to them like a lack of transparency, a denial of the emotional toll that years of waiting have inflicted on ordinary people who staked their trust, their resources, their time, their everything. Now, these are the two types of people, or two caliber of people, or kinds of individuals within this ecosystem that is dealing with. And he needs to put these two in concord. They need to have peace. We have the faithful ones, we have the wearied ones. Now, for the record, let me just divert a little so that some of you would know. Now, when the children of Israel left the land of Egypt, they went to pass through the Red Sea. They were not to pass through that region. If they had passed through the land of the Philistines, within 9-10 days, they would have been in the land of promise, which is Canaan. But God deliberately stopped that. There were reasons for that. The Bible says God had to take them through the region of the Red Sea because of those whose hearts are wearied. Because if they see war by the Philistines, they can return back to Egypt and say no. So God considered the heart of those who could be wearied in the journey, then he took them through the longer route. So even God considers the faint of heart in that victory that has been awaited in Canaan. You put it in mind. So as for the faithful ones, the quietness could mean determination. It's a signal of strength, and that's the narrative that we see. So certain people or certain section is pushing. Even Osim is pushing it here. He sees it as wisdom. He sees it as strength. He sees it as result. It's more oriented than just the loud promises, the loud sounding cymbals and things. He letting go for the result. That's the narrative that is being pushed here. But what of the heart of the fainted ones? He's not putting the question. From a pragmatic standpoint, what we can say is this: silence without updates can drain trusts. And I want you to know that silence without update can drain trust. I'm not saying that the secretary to the sanctuary world is not coming out to debunk matters or coming out to say pray more. That's not what I'm talking about. He does that. But I'm talking of clarity here. There's no clarity. There is no straightforwardness. Even if the work is ongoing behind the scenes, beneficiaries need periodic assurances, even if it's just an honest, in quote, not yet, but we are still on track. Things like that. Otherwise, silence can be misread as neglect. And at the same time, it's also fair to recognize that his silence may be strategic. Yeah. Perhaps there are some sensitive negotiations, some approvals, that cannot be rushed or broadcast just in the open. Perhaps speaking too early could sabotage the progress. In that sense, his silence may be protecting the beneficiaries more than they know. But still, did you hear what I'm saying? Still, years of waiting cannot be ignored. To be real, waiting changes people. Being honest with you, having to wait on the queue for too very long, it changes people. Some lose faith, some lose hope, some drift into bitterness, some remain still loyal. And here's where Apostle Ken's approach would ultimately be judged. Not by his words or his silence, but by whether the wait ends with a result. If disbursement really happens, and that right early, all the years of patience will be rebranded as endurance for a greater glory. But if it doesn't happen, silence will be remembered as avoidance, negligence, and abandonment. I know it will happen, so let's not discuss the other part. It's just the communication gap that is very poor, So in summary, Apostle Ken's approach is like a gamble that is rooted in discipline. It has brought in both respect and criticisms. It reflects quiet strength, but it also risks alienating the very people he seeks to help. In the end, only results would vindicate him. In the end, only results will vindicate him. And that's just the blunt reality. Now, when it comes to the pioneer, you could see that even though we could have some conflicting information sometimes, but we see that there is a back-to-back information. And when we get it, we become just very inquisitive. We want to know more what is happening there, even if it was a kind of wrongly put. Or see, once there is a mistake, there will be a correction. Imagine if and that is why some of you people that bashes us, tongue lashes us, insult the hell out of us, stop that rubbish, stop that nonsense, this and that, and you talk to us anyhow, with the influencers and with the people that gives you update. Now imagine the way it is paining you that Apostle Ken is not talking to the masses. The way it is paining you, paining the ecosystem, is the same way it's going to pain you if the so-called influencers right now that gives you update, if they have been quiet, regardless of the insults we receive at different time, we're still marching on. Now look at it that way. Apostle Ken is so silent and people are angry. Now imagine if we are silent. It is still better when you have conflicting information. It's better off when you have some conflicting, not yet up to date, but you are getting information. It shows that the system is not dead. That's exactly how it would have been if the entire grand ecosystem is silent. Nobody is talking. I tell you the truth. Everybody would have gone to their tents. The grand expectation would have long been forgotten. So I don't know whether you're comfortable with our silence, because there are two sides to it. The faithful ones, the wearied ones. The two of them have to match. The management have to match the two of them with actions, not just on the faithful ones. As for me, I'm unshaken, but not everybody can be Princess It. As for me, I'm unperturbed, but not everybody can be me, because we have different level of tolerances, and that is what we understand. You don't judge the people the same way. So that is the approach I'm seeing in all of this submission. Yes, nice one from Osim. At least if everybody departs, Osim is standing gallantly with UAAG, and so he's still standing very firm. And other ones too that pushes that narrative. UAG is a work in progress and is going to deliver. I'm standing by that system, knowing that it's definitely going to deliver. Don't forget, that's not the fund meant for project. Whatever you get from UAG is just you and yours alone. You're not using that to sink anybody. You're not building any school. It's for you, your family, your establishment, your settlement. So know that, and know that for where. The one coming with Pioneer is not your family business. It's for project. So if you look on this other side and you push away your mind away from this other side, catch sense. Both of them are very important. In fact, left to me, if you had really done a lot of moves in UAAG, and you have clusters, you have a lot to expect. I think even in UAG as a grant, you stand more advantage, because nobody's going to investigate what to use the grant money for under UAG. But this other one, may you not enter into a trap when it comes to project money, and it's going to be investigated in the long run. And because you just have an over sabi or over expectation, or you have a very large eye or greedy eye for fund you are meant to supposed to use to erect some facilities, then you corner them. And what's supposed to be a blessing to you, finally, the management or the officers of the law, is after your life. Blessing turned to, I don't want to mention that, but so watch it very closely. But my grievances with UAG is this arrant silence that pervaded that organ. And these two sides have to be taken into consideration. Anyway, I don't want this to be too long, but I just dropped this submission from what Hosim has dropped for us. So we're in expectation, all right? We're in expectation, and it's going to end in praise. Let's just be in expectation. Everything will be fine. Everything will be fine. And I repeat, everything will be fine. Just relax your mind. We've gotten to the threshold where no shaking, nothing they happen. Nothing they happen. And you won't have to bury anything but ungodliness, lies, poverty, incapacitations. You bury them in the soil, never to germatize again. And you will rise up. You rise to the peak, the crest of your destiny. All right, so having said that, just don't forget to be part of us. We are together in this. God bless you. Have a nice day.